All right, welcome back. Today we're talking about molar mass. The molar mass is how many grams per mole that an element weighs. So instead of saying like how many molecules or how many liters, we're looking at the unit of moles. So we're going to say how many grams does 1 mole of a compound weigh? And how we figure that out is we just add the mass of each element together while accounting for multiple elements. So all that we're going to do, and you'll need for this, is you'll need a periodic table, number one. You will need a calculator, number two. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the periodic table, find the mass of the elements we have in our formula, and add them together. That's all we got to do. So let's start by looking at salt, NaCl. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at our periodic table, and we're going to say, okay, what is the mass of each individual element? So on a periodic table, you have a little box, right? And we have our, say this is going to be our sodium element. On the bottom, we will have our mass. So our mass will be on the bottom, and that's the number you want. The largest number in the box towards the bottom. That's what you're going to get. So if we're doing sodium chloride, we're going to say, okay, how much does sodium weigh? Well, sodium weighs 22.990 grams. Okay. Then we need to look for chlorine. We'll look the same at the box for chlorine on the bottom. It weighs 35.45. And this is grams per mole. What we have to do is add those together, and we get 58.44 grams per mole. That is our answer. Okay? All that you have to do is look on the periodic table and add masses together. Okay? Now, keep in mind, when you do this, you have to account for multiple of individual elements. So let's do magnesium chloride, MgCl2. So we do the same thing. We're looking for the mass, right? So we get magnesium. Magnesium is 24.305. We would get chlorine, which is 35.45. Now, we have 2 chlorine, right? We have 2 chlorine in our formula. So that means we need to put it either 35.45 in twice, or we can do 35.45 and we could multiply that by 2 before we use that. Okay, we can multiply it by 2, or we can just do what I did here is I just added it twice, and that'll get us to 95.21. Okay, so that's going to be our grams per mole for magnesium chloride. So no matter what I give you, you just need to make sure we're looking at how many of each element that we have. So let's just say I did C4H6O4. You need to find carbon's mass, which is 12, and you'd multiply that 4 times. You find hydrogen's, which is 1, times 6. You do oxygen's, which is 16, times 4, and then you would add all of those numbers together to get your total molar mass. Okay, so this is just finding elements in the periodic table and adding them together.